If there is one thing that I truly detest as a filmgoer, it is when a director gets so caught up in their themes in trying to have a message in their movie that they completely lose track of the one core necessity of cinema: to tell a cinematic story. Whether it's Christian filmmakers thinking they're supposed to shout "Praise Jesus" for 2 hours, pretentious art students trying to make a horror movie without making a horror movie, or in the case of today's review, a director so hell-bent on making a cautionary tale that he ends up inadvertently making what amounts to cheap exploitation.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Michael Goy's Megan is Missing centers around teenage friends Megan Stewart and Amy Herman, two 14-year-old girls who vanished in January of 2007. The movie itself is compiled of Skype calls, cellular video chats, home movies, and news reports chronicling the weeks leading up to their disappearances. Yeah, this is a found footage movie. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you already know how I feel about found footage as a cinematic gimmick. And for those new to the channel, I have never considered found footage to be a compelling means of telling a story unless it's utilized in either an anthology film a la VHS or a web series a la Marble Hornets. With those instances, there's at least some sense of mystery and discovery. In a film, if we're supposed to assume the footage is found, then we're to assume that the people who shot the footage we're looking at are either dead or missing. So already I feel a disconnect in the story and the characters because I know how it ends, and instead of feeling for the characters, I just find myself waiting for the moment where they either go dead or missing. And Megan is Missing initiates that disconnect 2.678 seconds into the damn flick by telling you that Megan and Amy went missing, and this movie is a video compilation leading up to their vanishing. Instead of watching a movie, I feel like a detective who has to watch this footage for a missing persons investigation. And the concept falls apart the microsecond you start thinking about it and asking basic logical questions. If we're to assume the footage we're looking at is found, then who found it? Who was recording all these Skype calls? Who was recording all these cellular video chats? Who is cutting all this footage together like it's a documentary? Why do these video chats, which are supposed to be conducted on flip phones from the mid to late 2000s, have the aspect ratio and visual quality of an over-the-counter camcorder? Why is the camera so stable when it's supposedly being handled by angsty teenagers during the handheld bits? We're barely even scratching the surface of what's wrong with this movie. You see, writer-director Michael Goy wanted this movie to be a wake-up call for parents and teenagers, a cautionary tale about grooming and the dangers of giving children unmonitored access to the internet. On paper, that sounds like a compelling idea for a good thriller. The problem is that he chose a format that undermines his intent and was so laser-focused on his message that he neglected to consider how an audience member might see this movie. Found footage thrives on ambiguity and chaos, feeding half-seen and fragmented moments to the audience, while Goy's message requires structured storytelling and emotional context, which cannot work within found footage. And because the movie is message-driven instead of character-driven, even if you were to shoot this movie as a traditional thriller, instead of found footage, any semblance of subtlety and nuance goes straight out the window. We are told that Megan is the popular girl. We are told Amy is the unpopular girl. We are told that Megan is a broken person suffering from trauma that she's been carrying for years, and every attempt to convey these points afterwards comes across like a bit from an after-school special. Nobody talks like a teenager in this movie. Everybody talks like an exaggeration of a teenager, like the writer is a middle-aged bald spot whose only exposure to the modern teen was kicking back in his lazy boy with a big gulp and a bag full of Cheetos, while he spent his afternoon binging Hannah Montana. In 2 instances in this movie, Megan just recounts horrific experiences that happened when she was substantially younger, one with a camp counselor and one with her stepfather. Neither scene feels natural, and they both only exist to hang a giant neon sign over Megan's head that reads, feel bad for her. Empathize with her. Don't you feel bad for her? In the immortal words of Bill Burr, fucking no! The first half of the movie feels like a collection of semi-related vignettes stitched together. And by the time Megan does go missing, any baseline empathy you may have had just evaporates. Because at that point, the character logic has already smashed face first into a brick wall. At some point in the movie, Megan, who has an estranged relationship with her mother and constantly seeks validation because reasons, begins Skyping with a guy calling himself Josh. Josh doesn't have a webcam and makes excuses for not having one. Josh makes plans with Megan, ghosts her, then claims he didn't, but he was too shy to walk up and talk to her. This never raises red flags and leads to, you guessed it, Megan going missing. Then, when the investigation gets underway, Amy tells the cops that she suspects Josh of having something to do with it. For whatever stupid reason, this results in Amy's face being plastered all over the news. For whatever stupid reason, this results in Josh Skyping Amy, taunting her with information that could have only come from Megan, and then threatening her life. For whatever stupid reason afterwards, Amy walks off to a park by herself and subsequently gets snatched up by Josh, who, one would assume, would have fucked off from North Hollywood by now, assuming the cops haven't traced his IP address. For whatever stupid fucking reason, North Hollywood PD soon finds Amy's camera dumped in a trash can close to where she was grabbed. And on it is 20 minutes worth of Josh doing horrific things to Amy, sealing her inside of a barrel along with Megan's corpse, and burying said barrel out in the sticks. The logical trail from point A to point B doesn't track and only exists because, again, Goy was more focused on hammering his message home than he was on making a movie that is semi-coherent. As a result, the final 20 minutes of the movie feel more like cheap shock rather than a filmic conclusion. The tonal shift from A to B is jarring and only exists to further bludgeon Goy's message into your skull Jeffrey Dean Morgan style.
You taste that, Simon? That isn't a taste of shit!
I don't want to see any excuses in the comments about,
but listen, he only had a $35,000 budget and he had a limitation to work around.
Shit!
Number one, a low budget restricts what you can show, not what you can write. You don't need money to research police procedure, write dialogue that sounds like how real teens speak, or maintain internal logic. Those things only cost you time. Number two, allow me to counter that argument with some movies that were produced on a shoestring budget but still generated something that people appreciated. Number one, Ryan Mitchell's Paranoia wasn't a found footage movie, was produced on a $20,000 budget, used minimal locations and naturalistic lighting to heighten tension, and Mitchell built unease through subtlety, pacing, and atmosphere. Number two, Shane Carruth's Primer wasn't a found footage movie, was produced on a $7,000 budget, and the storytelling was dense, methodical, and grounded in realism, with the technical talk feeling authentic because Carruth is a former engineer with a degree in mathematics. Number three, Oren Peli's Paranormal Activity was a found footage movie, was produced on a $15,000 budget, and the found footage gimmick is fully justified because, unlike Goy, Peli understood how to work within the limitations of his chosen format. Number four, Kevin Smith's Clerks wasn't a found footage movie, had a consistent tone and authentic dialogue, and was produced on a budget of $27,000. Goy had none of these. He poured his limited resources into message delivery and shock value instead of authentic presentation and emotional groundwork. Megan is Missing isn't cheap because it lacked funding, it's cheap because it lacks substance. A good low-budget film like Paranoia or Clerks will work within its limitations. Goy tried to outsmart his own format and ultimately lost control of both tone and logic. And as far as the acting goes, everybody, and I mean everybody, acts like a caricature of the modern American teen or the modern American parent. Whether it's popular but broken Megan, innocent and unpopular Amy, the douche canoes they go to school with, or Josh the Predator. These characters might be at home in an after-school special, but they are neither believable nor compelling enough for cinema, and I honestly hope the actors have all moved on to something more fulfilling in life. In short, fuck this movie, and fuck everyone who praised it because
of the themes and the message.
You people have terrible taste, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. But with that out of the way, let me know what you think in the comments section below. Have you seen Megan is Missing? Do you think I'm being too hard on it, or do you think I'm being too soft? I'd love to know what you think, and if you like what I do and want to see more, subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 900 subs, and I just want to say that I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to help the channel out in a more personal way, you can become a YouTube member for just $1. It's purely optional. You can also check out my ongoing Wattpad novella, The Springfield Snatching, if you're a fan of pulpy, character-driven action narratives. I've got more content coming down the pipeline. But until next time, I will catch you in the next one.